Hello, Cesare. Just testing out my macros. Which don't seem to be working, which is kind of annoying. Oh, they are working. Never mind. Just have a massive delay on my phone. What about now? Is that any better? Cool. Thanks. Just gonna tweet this out, see if any random people decide to join, and then I'm gonna start, I think. But like finding this like non-DMCA music is quite painful because there's nothing actually like. Actually, I might try this. Oh, just stick with this. Oh yeah, I found like a non-DMCA playlist, but I just don't think it's that great, if you know what I mean. There's like a massive delay, so I'm not sure if this actually is changing the scene or not. Oh yeah, it is. So today, I think you can see the task list in the corner, right? So the first thing I'm going to work on is some very small observation puzzle, which doesn't really require any coding because I've already done everything for it. But I think that's like a good thing to start with, because this level, when I was looking at it, is a bit shorter than a lot of the others. My res is too high. Oh, but this is like your second or third monitor, right? So the idea behind this puzzle, if I can find what I need, is that you will have a keypad with a code. Just stick here for now, which is going to open a safe to get this item. Like before, this item was just like randomly in the level, which doesn't really make that much sense. So I thought that's a good place to put like a puzzle as like kind of a blocker to get this. Oh, on a laptop. My stream category? I definitely changed that already, I thought, but let me check. Oh, I think you're, I think it should be under software and games. Yeah, I see it. Game development. Still on Chaos Break. Looks good. Yeah, okay. Oh, maybe it's just a some kind of delay in your one. Yeah, what was that? Yeah, so the whole idea is that I've been going through like old levels and looking at like where can I add some extra smaller puzzles. And actually these observation puzzles can actually take people quite a while to get through, I've noticed. Like when I added that eyeball puzzle, that took some people like well over an hour to work out, which is a good and a bad thing, I guess. So I'm just going to put this over here for now. I'll probably have to move it later. Task list is hard to read. Is it hard to read on your screen? I guess it's because it doesn't have a background, right? And this thing is in the way. So maybe I need to stick like a background on that next time. Don't really have time to do that now. But I'll definitely do that next time. So yeah, the idea is you'll get a code for this, which will open this safe, which will allow you to get the item. And it's kind of related to these drawers over here, randomly in the hallway. Because I think you can kind of tell, like, these are kind of set up like a grid. So the idea is there's going to be like a code written on top of here, which will relate to grid coordinates on here, which will give you the code for that. Yeah, definitely the background, right? So I'll sort that out for next time. Yeah, so like most of the programming is already done for this, which is like means that it's like actually really quick to put in these type of puzzles. So that's why I don't want to make like full, really complicated puzzles at this stage of the game when I'm already so close to being finished. So like small things like this are kind of okay, I think. So for example, this is all already set up. So if I name this grid puzzle safe, all I have to do is add grid puzzle safe here, and then when this keypad receives the right code, it will automatically open this. So if I put this as like 1, 2, 3. Oh, and I have to turn this off. Don't want to open it instantly. Show cutscene. Oh yeah, no worries. I didn't see who just followed that. Oh, Fesney is following. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, no worries if you just want to lurk. I appreciate the follower count. Let's put it that way. Yeah, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so for example, I put the code in as 1, 2, 3. So if I now go up to this code box, put in 1, 2, 3. We get the cutscene, it opens the box. You can't really see that too well, I might have to put some better lighting there. And then you would get the item. Rather than it just being sat on the bed, kind of useless. I think it's nicer to have it like this. And I think, as I said, this puzzle might actually take people a bit of time to work out. So yeah, as I said, the idea is to have some text above here. Something like, this won't actually be the code, but like A3 times C7 plus G2. Like something like this. Which would relate to the numbers on here, but it's not going to be a normal grid like A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There'll be like another step to the puzzle, but that will give you the code for this if you work that out. And the idea about finding how this works is going to be that one of these pictures, maybe this one, I'm going to change to be a picture of this. And then around the side of the picture it will have the information player needs, so I'll kind of start that part now as well. So also make that horizontal. So imagine you see a picture of these guys on here. So it's like 4 columns. I kind of don't want them to be like 1, 2, 3, 4 because that's a bit too obvious. So I might do like 1, 6, 7, 9 just to confuse people a bit more. And a bit smaller. So something like this along the bottom. And I might also put like another picture here with the same thing just to confuse people, but I'm not 100% sure if I want to do that just yet. And then down this side would be the letters, which I was thinking could be a word. I don't actually know if you can do like... Okay, that does work. I was thinking of doing some kind of word like this, like cage. Center. Looks a bit off, but I think that's okay. Yeah, so in this case you would see all of those drawers, and you would hopefully relate these to the grid coordinates. These are still a bit too big, I think. I'll update that picture off stream because I think it's a bit of a waste of time for me to be sat in Photoshop. Oh, it's actually 5, isn't it? Rather than 4. Let's just do something like that. So I think that makes sense. I don't know if you're still there, anyone, but I assume that would make sense to you if you saw this with the drawers lined up as a grid. And then you see those numbers over here. Cool, thanks. Yeah, so for example, what numbers did I use again? I think I used 1, 6, 7, 9. So let's actually do something with this. So 1, 6, 9, 7. C-A-G, so we need to add E. Okay, it looks a bit complicated, but hopefully it won't be that confusing. So this one like A1, C6. So let's change this to something more useful. So A1, C6. Let's do like 8 times 10. Let's do 8 times 100. Because all the keypad codes so far have been 4 characters, and I think it should stay like that because it's like a convention. Otherwise, it could be kind of confusing if you've always had keypads with 4 numbers and then all of a sudden you don't. So that'll be 8 times, so that'll be 800. Although this is not going to be over, that won't be over 4 characters, so let's make that like 11. So that'll be like 1100 plus the rest of these, and then I'll just put random numbers in for the rest of it. So G9 is the next one. So the equation comes in that you have this grid, and these are locations on the grid. So like A1 is this number, and then C6 is this number, and then you need to do like an equation by replacing A1 and C6 with the numbers that are over here. Yeah, and then that will give you the code for this. So rather than it's just straight up like just get the coordinates, you still have to do it like that. Yeah, and I think that because like that can be suitably confusing enough, but not massively confusing, because like when you first see that, you'll have no idea what it is. You can't guess it because you know, like there's too many grid coordinates for it to relate to that without knowing this part of it. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. And then also like these are sort of puzzles I can put in like 20-30 minutes without any extra programming, which is kind of what I want to avoid right now, is like doing an extra programming. So there is one puzzle on the list, which is this clown puzzle, which will take a bit of programming, but not a lot, which is to do with, so there's like many different types of balloons, different types of masks, and different types of, I guess that's a juggling bat, right? And you'll be able to click on each one of these and change like from the blue one to the red one of the bat, change the balloon type, change the mask. And there'll be like 2 doors in another room, and they'll have something that relates to this, so you have to have this set up in the correct way. Oh, and also you can change from carnival to circus probably, and so you have to set this table up in the correct way to open that specific door, and then set it up the second way to open the second door. So it's like 2 doors that this same puzzle opens, but you can only open one at a time based on this. So that's one other puzzle that will take a tiny bit of programming, but not very much, to be honest. Like most of the programming is just done already, so there's not really that much left to do. Okay, what was the next one? G9. So it's 1100. I'm gonna have to write that down. It's 1100. Let's write the whole thing down. 11 plus 100. 11 times 100 plus 4 S7 plus 4, yeah, why not? Let's leave that as 3 plus 3 plus E6. So E6, let's make that a bit bigger, like 22 or something. And that, so that will be plus 22. So that will be the equation, right? So that's like 1127, I think. No, that's not right. 729. So that would be the code for this. 1129. And then I just need to stick a load of random numbers into the rest of these. So leave that as 1. Let's just make some random numbers. Although, I think I have to leave one of these as they are, right? Number 4, G9. So third one down has to say stay the same. So hopefully this will be confusing enough for a player that they won't be able to guess it. Or I assume it's not really possible to guess it from how you have to get the answer. Okay, that looks okay. So no more of the code on this row, so I can just put whatever in. And this row, I don't think I use anything in that row, do I? I think I use 3 in that row, which is S3. So no, I don't use anything in that row, I don't think. Let's check the code. C-A-G-E-S. I do use something in that row. I use something in every row. Ah, it's G, so that's 4. G9. Yep. So the rest of them I can change, apart from the 4. Something like this. Just gotta line them up properly, or it's gonna annoy me. Okay, that's good enough. And then I think this is E. So what one on E6. This is the second row of E. The 22 doesn't change, and the rest of them can change. Let's do like 50. 3 and 12. Maybe just keep those how they are. I might just keep the bottom row how it is. So let's just make sure that it actually adds up to everything. So A1 times C6. So A1 C6. It's 11 times 100. So that's correct. That part. So that's like 1100. And then the rest should add up to 129. Should 29 only. So G9, S7, E6. So 4. So S7 should be 3. It's 3. And then the last one, 22. Should be E6, which it is. So that puzzle is basically done. It was much quicker than I expected. Yep, so now, although let's check the camera angle on that. Yeah. Need to fix camera angle on that because you can't see the code underneath very well. Just pull that out a bit. Yeah, that was super quick. I mean, yeah, I think the main problem with adding more puzzles is I just can't really think of many more puzzles to add. That in a little bit more. Although I think there are enough puzzles, it's just obviously if I can get like quick wins of adding small stuff like this, then I'll do it. Yeah, so we can see that perfectly there. And then hopefully they're going to work out that it's that. And then you get the item that was just previously sat over here doing nothing. But yeah, I am wondering if I should just put like a similar thing next to this, just to be a bit confusing. Or next to almost, I think there's some other painting in here, so I could just put it next to like any painting. There's also one over here. And then it should only make sense for the one that's the picture of this, right? Although it could be, like I say, a bit too confusing for the player, but I think I might think about doing that. So what is the second thing on the list? The circus puzzle. So yeah, this one will take a little bit of programming to do, but actually not that much either. The same, that is the second room. Yeah, this is, I've changed the second room a bit to add some more stuff. Like, I don't think there was this clock puzzle before. And then now it also has this puzzle. This puzzle's also changed in a way I can't really tell you about, but kind of an interesting way, let's put it that way. Yeah, so like these rooms that are a bit smaller, I kind of felt like if I add a bit more, I don't think anyone's going to complain if there's a bit more added in there, right? Yeah, I also changed, I don't know if you can notice it, but I changed like the post-processing. So it looks kind of, or it should look kind of darker and less like washed out. So I think it's easier to see on... The only thing with it is I need to like update the lighting a bit, because some places are a bit like too dark now, but it's a bit easier to see in this room. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it here, but like it's much easier to read like the side of this and things like that, because now it's a bit darker. I think it's easier to see when you actually play it, or if I was to put two screenshots next to each other, you would definitely see it. Alright, so back to this circus puzzle. So like I mentioned, since almost all the programming is already done, to make an object highlight, all I need to do is set it to interactable here, which is like custom object type, and then give it a component tag of interactable, and set this, so render depth when it's on for an item will draw the outline. So if I set it to auto, whenever the puzzle is not set to busy, it's probably not going to work out yet. Whenever it's not set to busy, it will automatically highlight an object that's set up like that. So like this is also set up like that because when you check the puzzle, it gets a highlight. So when you enter the puzzle, I need to remove this highlight for one. So the whole idea would be like you'd be able to click on him, it would change what's in his hand. Click this guy, it will change the mask. Click this, it will change that. Click this, and it will change from carnival to circus. Oh, the numbers on the site. Yeah, I think it's much easier to read now as well. Because I do think that was a problem. Because like I can read it quite well, but I notice like if other people can't read it, then it's a problem, right? Just because I can do it, if the players can't do it, then I have to do something like this eyeball puzzle. You saw that solution to that like instantly. Some people were stuck for like an hour 40 minutes just wandering around the room with no clue what to do, and that's why I decided to add this hint system in. And the hint system works like super easily, right? So I just add, so like I just add to this like hint widget, and then I say like hint 1, hint 2, and now when I enter this puzzle, because I've added that widget, this comes up in the top left. When I click that, I get this, and then I get my... Okay, it's not actually working anymore for some reason. But, oh, I know why it's not working. I haven't set that one up yet. But if I use the 3 widget one, so hint widget base, this one will work. If this one doesn't work, then well, this also doesn't work. I don't know. This used to work, but you would hold down 1, 2, or 3, and it will reveal what's underneath. Oh, I know why. I know why that's not working. I can actually fix that right now because I did that in the demo project, and I need to import it into this project. But yeah, it's very easy now to like add a hint. I just need to like actually write them all down and get someone to proofread them. And I think I'll probably add them to like every puzzle that you click to enter like at least one hint. Even if to me it's really obvious, I think there should be some hints. So yes, I want to migrate this one to the other project. Without any of this shit. It's annoying that it tries to take like everything. Okay, that's the one thing I need. The character. Right, so this should import the character from over there, which has the correct... Could not be copied. Alright, I'll just copy the whole thing. Shouldn't be a problem. Oh, or maybe it's because the other project is open, probably. I was thinking of yeah, having an option in the menu where you just completely disable it. I guess you can just not click it, but like some people might not even want to see the button, right? They might not want to be tempted. It's so annoying how it takes all of this though. Oh, that is another thing actually that you've reminded me of. Like when it comes to like inclusivity, I was thinking about like some of the puzzles require audio prompts. So I'm thinking about like having some accessibility option where you have, instead of audio prompts, you get some kind of like text pop-up for like if you're hard of hearing or something, which would be like really easy to add because it's only like a couple of puzzles. But then I'm wondering like, is it something people are gonna appreciate or not? I don't know. Okay, so that's migrated over. So now I would like to hope that it will work now. Yeah, that's true. It might be good for reviews. I mean, also, like, I mean, if I was hard of hearing and I couldn't complete a game because of it, I'd probably be pretty annoyed. So, and I mean, if it really won't take me long to add that in, right? So, if it takes me an hour to add that for the whole game, it's probably worth it. Right, let's now hope that the hints work. Okay, they don't work, but it's not, I have to get the right file out of the other project later. It doesn't really matter for now because I'm not actually doing that. But yeah, I just wanted to show you. Well, actually, I'll leave that there because it's going to need hints anyway. Yeah, so I need to set up the other models to have this interactable option on them. So just these two for now. I'm not sure if I actually need this carnival circus thing to change as well or not. That might be too many things that the player needs to keep track of. Especially because they have to like turn it off and on depending on which room they want to go to. So I might just do these guys for now and add it later if it's needed. Interactable. That looks kind of weird, but it's just kind of going through the floor. Right, so that highlights, unhighlights them perfectly. So now I need to do like a click event on all of them. Actually, this might be a little bit of a problem because this bit is not attached. Actually, it's okay. The collision's still working because this is a separate model. I thought that should be a problem, but it's okay. So click events for all three of these. And then I have a function. Is player allowed to interact? So if there's like some animation going on or something like that, you can set the puzzle to be busy, which means the player can't exit the puzzle, click on anything, and the highlights automatically stop working. So I need to check if the player is allowed to interact before I do anything here. So that will check that the puzzle isn't busy first, and then I need to set up. So there are how many of these? There are 5 different juggling bats. I think 3 different masks. So I need to add these somewhere so I can cycle through them. So on begin play, I'll create an array of, what are these called? I'm just going to call them juggling bats because I have no idea what they are. Juggling bats, which I've spelled wrong, but I'm not going to update. Juggling bats array, which is an array of static meshes. I'm going to do this on I'm going to actually do this on this event, on init, which is makes more sense. And then make array, take all of these juggling bats. I kind of want to add them in order as well, so the index of the array. Wait, what is this? Static mesh object reference. That's the wrong thing. Static mesh component, I think that needs to be. Yeah. So if I add all these in, see, I want them to line up with the index as well, like A, B, C, D, E, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, just for convenience. So I'll do it this way. Juggling battens? Oh, maybe I did spell it right. Oh, battens, yeah, clubs. I can rename it. Juggling clubs. Not that anyone else is ever going to read this code, but, you know. So there we have like the array of meshes, and then it's going to need an integer. So juggling clubs current index, which is an integer, single integer, which will start at 0. Well, I don't need to start at anything. So when the player cycles through and clicks on the little guy that's holding the bats, it's going to turn all of these off, change the index, and turn on whichever one relates to the current index. So, which guy is this? This is clown miniature body. So when clown miniature body is clicked and there's nothing going on, increase the index, make sure the index isn't too high, by getting the length of the array. I think it's length -1, but I will test this out in a minute. Because if it's... just do this way around. So if it's greater than the length of the array, need to set it. Once visible. Why has the music stopped? Actually just got a internet outage, which is kind of random, which killed my music. That's actually the first time I've ever had that happen while I'm streaming. That's quite funny. The first time I stream, the internet dies. Oh, it's going to be really annoying if this music doesn't work. Alright. Hopefully that's better now. Sorry about that. I don't know if you heard me explaining this, but basically it goes through all the juggling clubs, turns them all to invisible, then it only turns on the current club, and it'll do the same for like all the masks, all the balloons, etc. once I add those. So update items visibility. If this works first time, I will be quite surprised. So I don't know if you can see that it's cycling. I think I actually also need to turn on the render depth for these guys as well, but you can see it's cycling through the different clubs. By clicking on it, it doesn't seem to break. 1, 2, let's start from the right one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's cycling all of them. That's perfect. And the other thing we need to do after that is to... so once you've clicked on one, I want to check for puzzle solved, which is a function that will override in a minute. In fact, let's do that. Start doing that now. So, like, in this function would be where we check, like, is the juggling club's index equal to whatever it's meant to be for the puzzle to be correct, which we don't know yet. And then The same for the mask and everything else. So let's also make the masks array. Exactly the same as the other one. Do you think there's 3 of them? Yeah. So A, B, and C. And then we also need another index for the masks. So mask array, just mask current index, exactly the same as the other one. And that's this clown over here. So I can kind of copy and paste this code. It's pretty much the same. And just replace these, so if I drag and drop them over, I can change them to the variables for the mask rather than the variables for the clubs. And then do the same thing, like exactly the same thing over here. So once that's finished, start looping the mask array and check the current mask index. I feel like I'm missing something here. What am I missing here? Let's see, maybe that will work the first time. So here, yeah. So cycling through the 3 different masks, clicking on him, and this one still works. That's a good sign. So yeah, that's the second part of it, and then the last part is these balloons. Let's move that up a little bit. It's bothering me being there. Yeah, and then the same thing. We would check to say for the first door the code might be like, it might be like this club A and mask C. So this would check both of them. And then obviously we'd have the balloons as well. And then if all 3 conditions are fulfilled, then in this case we would like open the door, which I'm gonna add later, like after we finished the rest of this. Otherwise it would go and check the other condition, which would be for the second door, to see if the condition for the second door is fulfilled or not, and then open the second door. So, and also it needs to close the doors if they're not fulfilled, so I'll sort that out as well in a minute. So the last thing to do is make a balloons array, exactly the same. Balloons array. Same thing, make array. I don't know how many balloons there are. 5 balloons. So then just add 5 pins, add all the balloons. Maybe there's a shortcut to do this, I never worked out if there is. So now we have all 3 arrays. With all the static meshes. And then again make another index. Balloon current index. So yeah, as I said, there's like a little bit of programming in this puzzle, but there's still not so much. It's not that complicated. Okay. Don't need all of that. Just this part. Alright, so again, I can replace these variables. So instead of the juggling clubs array, I'm changing the balloon array when I click on the tent. And I'm changing the balloon's current index. So that also needs to go here. So when you click the 10, it's going to increase the balloon's current index. If it's too high, it's going to wrap around back to 0. Then it will update the visibility and check for a puzzle solved again. So same again, exactly the same as that, and just replace the variables. So we're going to loop through the balloons array, turn them all off, take the balloon's current index, and turn on whatever the current one is. Let's see if that works. So yeah, the balloons are changing there. Although I did notice it's loading the texture. Okay, no it's not. So if we start from there, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to 1. So yeah, that's all working now, so you could select all 3 of them and change them. Although I do want to do something about this, because I feel like these should have the interactable thing on them. Let's change these. They should also be highlighted, I think. So again, change them to custom, interactable. I think that's enough to make it work, but let's just check. Okay. This just isn't quite working how I want it. I don't want it to... I don't actually want it so you can... so it will block highlighting the guy, which it's currently doing, but I do want it to highlight. So that's a bit of a pain in the ass. It should, since it's a child of this, it should just work. But it doesn't seem to be, so I think I need to turn off collision. That might make it work. Well, that doesn't seem to want to work, but I'll sort that out later, I think. Not sure what's going on with that, but it's not really important. I can sort that out later. So now that's done, I can actually make it do something when it has the correct input. And for now, just to test it, I'll just have to click everything once to fulfill this condition. So these arrays, these indexes start at 0. So if you haven't clicked it, it will start at 0. If you click it once, it will go to 1. If you click it twice, it will go to 2. So I'll click each thing once, and then this condition should be fulfilled, and we should go to true instead of false here. So I'm going to add a door. So like door 1. Let's just call that. Of type escape room door. And this instant editable and expose on spawn allows you to select it from a menu here. And I'm going to just copy and paste the door for testing. I'm not actually going to, because this puzzle won't actually be in this room. There's no point actually properly setting up in this room. Just test it this way. So let's call this test door 1. So now if I select test door 1 here, this door 1 should now reference this test door 1 that was there. And so within the door code, there should be unlock unlock maglock. So I don't want it to show the cutscene. So here, show magnet lock, unlock cutscene. No, I don't want to do that because that'd be really annoying. So unlock maglock. So now, like, I can test this out, right? If I click each thing one time, it should open the lock on the door, hopefully. But I need to spin it around. So one click, one click, one click. And it's still locked, so something didn't work right there. So either... Oh, I think I know what's going on here. So I'm not calling check for puzzle solved. Oh no, I am calling it. So it should hit this, so let's put in a breakpoint and find out if it's actually hitting that or not. And then if it is hitting that, we need to find out why... Oh right, that's why. If you don't show the unlock cutscene, don't do anything at all. So that's the problem. Is that there's no... Right, so yeah, there's an animation to open the maglock, but there's no instant open part of this, so I need to add that. I haven't looked at this code in a while, so it's kind of confusing. There should be... Okay, so yeah, this lerp, this is... This should be the end position. So what I should need to do is just to take this and take this. So instead of playing an animation and moving between two locations over time, I'm just going to instantly move to the end location, hopefully. So the maglock forward in position means, like, I guess that should be more like open position rather than in position. And the same with this one, the backwards maglock. It should instantly go to these locations, hopefully. But let's check. I'll check before I tidy this up. So it should hit this breakpoint. Right, so it's hitting that, which is good. Then let's see if it hits the next breakpoint. So it hits the next breakpoint, false. Then it should set these positions, which are hopefully the right positions. And yeah, so this is now, the animation is played, but the variable to lock the door is still set to locked. But we've at least fixed this part of it. So I can tidy these up a little bit now. Yeah, sometimes I'm getting confused when I'm looking at this because I haven't actually looked at some of these classes in a really long time. Right, so at the end of that, the maglock is open, so I want to tell the door that it's open by setting locked to false. So hopefully this time, click all three of them, it's open, and the door opens, right, so that's perfect. So the only thing is now, is to do that for a second door. So let's just duplicate that. So this can be the test door 2. Kind of need to do the same thing, add another one, door 2. Unlock maglock if this condition is fulfilled. And for testing, let's make that condition be clicking each thing twice. So I didn't actually set it on here. That's the problem with that. So 2 clicks on each one, and the lock opened. And this one is not open because I haven't put the right thing in yet. Right, so anyway, that's working. Now I need to do on save game. So what do I actually want to save in this puzzle? Do I just want to reset it when they reload the game? Or do I actually care enough to save what mask and what juggling pin and what balloon they're currently on? I think I only want to do that if they've got one right. So if I create 2 variables like is door 1 solved and is door 2 solved, which are 2 true or false variables. So if we've unlocked door 1, we can set is door 1 solved to true, and we're going to save that in the save data. So when we load it, we can open the door again instantly. Although, I think the doors will already do that. I'm just going to check. I think I've already set up the doors that they will already do that. So this one's unlocked. Let's save it. And let's load it. Okay, so it doesn't remember. Oh, it doesn't remember the mag lock, but I think it will remember if I actually open the door. So let's try that. Yep. So it's not remembering the mag lock, but it is remembering door ring. So I think this is actually something I need to fix in the door rather than in the puzzle itself. So what is this saving? Yeah, so all this is saving is it open? So probably right now, if you unlock a door and you save the game without opening it, but the mag lock is open, you probably won't be able to open that door anymore and your game will be soft locked, I assume. So I need to add a variable in here which is maglock unlocked. So when we unlock the maglock, or do I want to save? I want to save that also is locked. Yeah. Anyway, I also need to save this one instead anyway. So is the maglock unlocked? Yes. Is the maglock unlocked? Also yes. Just checking that the code always reaches there, which it does. Right, so now in the save data, I can kind of copy and paste this again. So I need to give the variable in the saved data a name. So I start with the name of the object, so it's always got a unique suffix. And then I can add like is open. So it would be whatever the name of the object is plus is open, and then okay, we're not saving is open though, we're saving is locked. And then is locked. Is that, okay, my music stopped, I didn't disconnect this time. Let's start some synthwave instead. Right, so anyway, where was I? Yeah, so we save this variable locked into the save data, and we'll check that on load in a minute. And then we'll also save the maglock variable. So is maglock unlocked? Although I don't actually need that, because if it's not locked, none of the maglocks will be locked anyway, right? So I can just use that one is locked. So let's get rid of this. I don't need both of those. Yeah, that makes sense. Just check, gotta check. Okay, yeah, so is locked. I also need to make sure I do that over here. If I animate the lock unlocking, that I definitely have unlocked it. Right, so now this is saved. On load, I can retrieve that. Let's first check what we're doing on load. So we're getting the save data, checking that it exists, checking that it finds it, that's fine. If it's unlocked, it will just open it. So if it's not unlocked, or it's not open, sorry, we're checking if it's open, because that's what we've saved here. So if it's not open, we need to check if it's locked. So it could be unlocked but not opened yet. That's the case that we have to like cover here. So I need to find the data in the save data here, which we've saved up here with the same name. So the object name plus locked, we're looking for that in the data. And if we find that, then we can retrieve this, which should equal whatever our locked variable was when we saved the game. So for 1, we can set it back to what it was when we saved. So if it's found, set it back to what it was. If it's not found, don't do anything, because we didn't save it. And then we want to check if it's not locked. Because if it's not locked, we want to open the maglock without playing any animation. So show magnet unlock cutscene. We always want that off. Otherwise, we would show the cutscene every time we loaded the game. And this is true. We don't want to do that. We only want to show it once. So don't show the cutscene. Instant open it. Right. Let's see if that actually works. What are you complaining about here? Right. So now we can give this another try. So now the door is unlocked, the maglock is open, but it's not. The door has not actually been opened yet. So if I save it now and reload it, okay, so now the maglock is open and the door is unlocked. So that's fixed that case. Okay. So these variables are not needed. I mean, that's basically this puzzle done. I just need to add the proper codes in later when I'm not going to do the part of the puzzle that shows you what these need to be to open doors. I just wanted to do the logic for this puzzle. So this is also done now. And I'll move those into the other room later. So what is the next thing on the list? Guitar puzzle. Oh, actually, there is something else I want to do here, because right now when you put the correct thing in, you have no feedback that you've unlocked the door. So maybe it is better to show the cutscene, so the player is aware that they've unlocked the door. That might actually be better. Let's try that. So show unlock cutscene. Show unlock cutscene. This music is awful. Okay, so we can't just show the cutscene unless this covers freezing the player. Okay, this does freeze the player. But we need to make sure that the puzzle can't be interacted with while this cutscene is playing. So we need to set this to be busy. Right. And the same thing. The only problem with this is we need to set it to be unbusy after the cutscene's finished. So we need to delay after that. Let's just see if it works first. Okay. So that works. But then we return to the wrong camera as well, which is a bit of a pain. So yeah, we shouldn't be returning to the camera, the player camera, and we shouldn't be allowing the player to move after the lock has unlocked. So I'm gonna have to change this again. I think I need to add like a parameter. So like escape room. So if I add the puzzle, so if I add the puzzle as an optional parameter, that might work. So like interactable puzzle base is the base class. So let's call it like puzzle to return to. So if this is, so this won't break everything else in the game because they'll just send through nothing and it'll be ignored. But if there is a puzzle to return to, at this point, we need to check, right? So we're checking here, is the puzzle not equal to nothing? Which means if this is true, that means the puzzle exists. So it's play the maglock animation, and this is where it returns to the player character's camera. So in this case, we don't want to return to the player character's camera, we want to return to the puzzle's camera. So if we copy this, and instead of going straight to this returning to the player camera, we say like if there's no puzzle, then return to the player camera. If there is a puzzle that's been sent through, then return to the puzzles camera. Which I need to get from here. So in this case, like, we would be returning to the player controller's camera, but instead we're going to return to the puzzles camera. Hopefully that's going to work. I would be surprised if it does, actually, to be honest, but let's give it a go. Right, so then we still need to make sure that it's unlocked after that. So let's try that out. Okay, I haven't sent through the puzzle, so don't panic yet. Yeah, okay, so here, unlock maglock, send a reference to self. So I'm sending through, self is like this object, so I'm sending through myself, which is the, I'm sending through the puzzle, the circus puzzle, basically. Is that the only, okay, also over here. So hopefully now, when it unlocks a maglock, this will not be equal to nothing, and we will set it to the right camera. So let's try that out. 1, 2, 3. It has returned to the right camera. The cursor is still missing, but we can fix all that in a minute. So that's like the, that's probably the hardest thing to fix, which is now fixed. So when we start this cutscene, we're hiding the cursor. So when we end the cutscene and return to a puzzle, we want to show the cursor, but we don't want to unfreeze the player, because we don't want the player to walk around while they're still in this puzzle. So let's add that. This over here so it's a bit easy to read. Right, so hopefully now it will return to the puzzle and the cursor will be back. Okay, didn't work. So let's find out why that didn't work. Is it doing anything else? Hide cursor. Player is frozen. Right, could be doing something else in hide cursor. Yeah, probably this. I'm wondering if I want to keep this in here or have each puzzle handle this themselves. So I need to think about that. But for now, I'm just going to put it in here. And if it works, I might move it out afterwards. But let's just get it working for now. Okay. Still not working. Ah, yes, because I'm saying don't show the mouse cursor. I just copy and pasted it without actually changing it. So now I'm saying yes, let's show the mouse cursor afterwards. This music is terrible as well. I'm going to just go back to the first playlist again. Oh, wrong one. Which one was it? This one. Let's just replay that. Okay, it worked. But let's do that again, because it worked and I had the stream off. Oh, did I not put this in right? Okay, I've already messed that up. I'll just start that again. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Opens, comes back, and the cursor's still here. The cursor's still here, but I can't interact with anything, which is slightly odd. So there's something else still going wrong here. Kind of confused as to what that is, because all we're doing is also this probably. Although this, I don't think that's actually should be a problem, because this is just the actual cursor image that's on the screen. So disabling the cursor image on the screen shouldn't stop it interacting, I don't think. Oh, I know what it is, because it's busy. Because we said it's busy, it's not going to highlight anything. So when we get back from here, we need to add up all the time that's going on here. So like 1 second, 1.5 seconds plus whatever's in here, 2 seconds. So after 2 seconds from returning from the maglock, let's just move this down a little bit. So we play the maglock cutscene. We delay for 2 seconds. After this 2 seconds delay, we're no longer busy. We've seen the cutscene, we've returned back to the correct camera, so we shouldn't stay in the busy state. So let's give that a try. So 1, 2, 3, opens. Yep, and now okay, it's annoying that I can highlight these doors, but I know what's going on there. I think this door class is one of the first things I made, and there's definitely a few problems with it. Yeah, still interact. Okay, it's going to play it again, because that's definitely something I need to fix. So we don't want to replay it, because we've already unlocked that door. So this code, so if we unlock the first door, and we put the correct code in, we don't need to unlock it again. So we need to track that we've already unlocked it. So door 1 unlocked. So the first time we do this, we unlock it and we say yes, we have unlocked it. I don't need to do that before. Yeah, that's fine to do it like that way. Okay, so now we're saying, if this is all correct, get busy, be busy, don't get busy, unlock the maglock, store that we've unlocked that specific door, delay, because the cutscene is going on, when we get back, say that we're allowed to interact again. And what we now want to do is we want to say, if the door has already been unlocked, so we're reversing this, right? So if the door is unlocked, we don't want to go back in here. So if this is true, we want this to fail. So we need to send through false if this is true. So we reverse it with not. So it's basically saying, if the door is unlocked, don't ever go into true. So now this should only trigger once, I hope. And then if that's the case, I can do the same thing with the second door. So 1, 2, 3, unlocks. I guess I should also remove this while the cutscene is playing, but I'll check that in a minute. So if I go cycle back through, it's not playing the cutscene again because it's remembered that it's already done it. So that's another thing we need to add to the save data later. But for now, I need to add the same for the second door, because you might unlock the second door because this puzzle unlocks 2 doors with different inputs. So you might unlock the second door before the first door, so we need to store that one as well. And then we need to check at the end if both doors are unlocked, then the puzzle can no longer be interacted with because everything is done with it, right? Oh, didn't reverse it. So there again, if it is unlocked, don't go into true again. It's exactly the same thing. So door 2, So door 2 is unlocked, therefore do not go and unlock door 2 again. And then if both doors are unlocked, we will end this puzzle and not allow the player to interact with it anymore, so they don't sit here confused, spending time on it when it won't open a third door. So we want to check door 1 and door 2. If they both are true, connect it from here and also from here and also from here. Wait, it should never come from here. It can only come from after these cutscenes. So actually I don't want to set busy to being false yet, because I might do another cutscene at this point. So do the maglock, get back, have the delay, check if both doors are now open. If both doors are not open, then I can set it to not busy. Otherwise I want to show like the end sequence, let's call it. Yeah, that sounds about right. So that's like get player character. So while this sequence is playing, I want to hide the cursor. So the player kind of knows like, oh, I can't interact, my cursor is gone. And I want to delay for a moment. Let's just delay for like 1.5 seconds for now. And then exit to exploration mode. And this isn't everything that I need to do, but I just want to check this is kind of working first before I add the last part to it. So open the first lock. Can I open the first lock again? No. Open the second lock. Yeah, there we go. So open the second lock, pause with no cursor. Right, I can still enter it, but that's fixable. But that's kind of what I want to happen when they've solved both of the puzzles. So in this case, actually, let me check very quickly another puzzle to get the timings right. Check for puzzle solved. Okay, switch to mode. Puzzle solved. Okay. Yeah, this is what I need. Is that what I need? Is that right? I think the best one to check is this mirror puzzle. Because I want all the timings to be consistent. Like if it pauses and exits a puzzle, I want it to be the same for every single puzzle through the entire game. So I just need to double check what the timings were. Alright, check for puzzle solved. Okay, this is messy. Why is this so messy? Oh no, so that is right. So in this case, we switch to exploration mode, we clean up the meshes, which is the thing that will stop you being able to highlight the table and stuff like that. And then we call anything that's listening, such as if completely solving that puzzle opens something else, this would handle it. And this will also like set that the puzzle is solved in the save data. So here, like, it's solved, you can't start the puzzle anymore, you can't use items on the puzzle anymore. And then you tell anything that is listening for if this puzzle is solved, you tell it, okay, I've solved this puzzle. So that's what that function does. So the next thing to do is clean up meshes, which is also something I need to do when I start the puzzle. Okay, I completely forgot about that. So when the puzzle is started, we want to turn off this from being selectable, because it's still selectable at the moment. So let's just move all this out of the way. And on puzzle, on start puzzle complete. Start the puzzle and we say that the table should no longer be highlightable. Or actually, I might have already made a different solution to this. Let's just double check. Because I'm sure I already did something like a global fix for this, but I'm not sure if that's going to work. This might work. Hopefully it does. Okay, yeah. I forgot I'd made that. So I don't need to do any of that. I just need to add it to this. So this will basically ignore any object that I add into this array. It will not highlight it when I mouse over it. So I don't ever want to highlight the table when I'm in the puzzle. I only want to highlight the table when I'm outside the puzzle, right? So in this case, now, yeah, the table should be ignored. And then, yeah, you come out, and you should be able to interact with the table. But I need to also do a similar thing for these doors here, right? Like, why are they... Oh, it's the same for this, but not these. So there's a few puzzles where I need to fix that. That's kind of annoying. But I don't want to do that right now, but I'll fix that later. Okay, where were we? Circle, okay, clean up meshes, that's where we're at. So in this case, actually the first thing I want to do is, there's a lot of meshes here, and I don't want them all to be casting a shadow, because that's quite slow, and they're so small that the shadow actually doesn't matter, right? So let's just disable the shadow. I think I'll leave the shadow for the main things here, but like all these things, I don't think the player's even going to notice. I mean, you can kind of see the shadow on these, but I don't think they'll notice about the balloons and the rest of it. Wait, and also the balloons aren't even in the right place anymore. What happened? Oh, okay, I know what's going on here. It's set to snap by 1, but I don't want to snap it because it's... Okay, I have no idea what's going on here with these balloons. Oh, well, I'll just do it this way. Set them to like 150. And then say 200. Also 150. Okay. Now the balloons are actually attached to this thing. Nice. Crashed. Yeah, it is quite unstable, this editor at the moment, this 427.1 version. But it auto-saves all the time, so I won't have lost any data. Okay, so back to clean up meshes. Let's take all the meshes that can light up. Which is quite a lot. Actually, I'm gonna add these to some array to make it a bit easier, because I have to call more than one function on them. So let's call it like all interactable meshes. So let's now make an array of all interactable meshes. Okay, just a few more. Right, so now we have this array. When we clean up the meshes, we can just loop through the array. So get all, what did I call it? All interactable meshes arrays. Okay, get this array, loop through them. And turn off component tags and set it so they have no collision. And hopefully that will mean they're no longer interactable. And also have to change the table so when you're in the normal exploration mode that it won't highlight. This is only changing it for the things like the tent and everything. So I also need to change it for the table specifically, slightly differently. So I might have to set the collision object type to something else. Okay, let's give that a try. So first one opened, second one opened, delay, goes back. Okay, so that has now worked, although you can see it's still using the hand cursor, so I just need to override that. But yeah, nothing highlights now. I'm gonna go over it, I can still walk in. I still can't walk through the table, so it hasn't messed up the collision. So the last thing I need to do is, under functions, I need to override get cursor type. So get cursor type you can select standard, which is the square, little square cursor. The inspection one is an eyeball. Interact is the hand. The hand is also use item, right? So if you can interact with the puzzle, it automatically uses interact, which is the hand. But we don't want to do that if we've solved it. So if the puzzle has been solved, use the standard cursor. If it has not been solved, use the interactable cursor, right? And when we call on puzzle solved here, it will set this variable solved to true, and then the cursor should no longer change into the hand, I hope. Let's give that a try. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, so now even when I look at it, it's still showing the correct cursor because it's been solved. So that's great. So now I just need to do a little bit more here. So I do need to remember two things. I need to remember, has it unlocked the first door? Has it unlocked the second door? And if it has, well, yeah, let's just get this data first. Get save data. Just going to copy this out of another. Alright. I think I can copy it from here. Yeah, this is what I need. So the solved variable is saved based on the object name. So if I try to find in my saved data this, which is my object name, circus puzzle, plus solved. So it's looking for circus puzzle solved within this save data, which has automatically been saved when this has been called. So first we check, does it find that in the save data? If it does find that in the save data, then let's check the value of it. Well, first, let's set our variable in here to whatever we saved it as. So we go back to the same state. And then we can say, oh, don't want to comment that. Then we can say, is the puzzle solved? And if the puzzle is solved, we can clean up the meshes, right? So you can't interact with the puzzle because it's already solved. Just thinking if I need to do one more thing. Where is it? Okay, this. So this is the listener that, like, if say I solve this circus puzzle and then I tell the door to open, it will be called. It will call this after puzzle solved listener. So I'm listening for that puzzle to be solved, and then everything that's listening that has this function gets called. And I'm just checking this. Yes, this is what I'm checking, right? So if I'm loading the game, it does something complete. Okay, that's fine. Right, that's perfect. So I want to clean up the meshes and I want to call puzzle solved. If it's solved. If it's not solved, then I need to get different data. Which we haven't added to the save data yet. So basically I need to say, hold on, I'm doing this under the wrong function. I should be doing this under load game. Yeah, this is what I want to do for load game, not save game. So let's move this down here, and then I'll do the save game here. So on load game, I want to check, is it solved? Set solved if it is, and clean everything up. If it's not solved, then I want to look for different data, which is not the variable solved, but door 1. So if door 1 is found in the save data, then I want to set door 1 unlocked to whatever's in the whatever has been saved. So it might not be unlocked, or it might be unlocked, but whatever it is, we need to go back to the same state that it was in when we made the save game. And then I want to do exactly the same thing for the second door, and then I want to add these two to the save data when this function is called, when populate save data is called, rather than trying to add it on load data. So instead of door 1, it's door 2. So I need to go there for 2 from 2 of these, right? So if it doesn't find the first one, it probably won't find the second one. If it doesn't find the first door, but let's still hook this up this way just in case. And then after it's got the variable for the first door, it should also get the variable for the second door. So door 2, right. Actually, this is the wrong thing. This needs to check. Oh my god. Yeah, this needs to check this, not that. Okay, so let's just check this logic. So if you load the game and it finds door 1 in the save data, then take whatever value door 1 was saved as. Same here for door 2. If you find door 2 in the save data, then set door 2 to whatever it was saved as at the time of saving. So that looks right to me. And then over here, get save data. So this is for actually saving the game. So first thing I want to do, which I should do on the other one as well, is to call the parent function. Which I also need to do here. Oh, that's going to cause lots of weird problems. Okay, so get the save data, and this time instead of finding, I want to add some, and I want to use the same name. So, for example, I want to save the door 1 variable under the same name that I'm going to load it with, otherwise they won't be able to find each other. So here, split this. So basically I'm saving, is door 1 unlocked under this door 1 lookup string, and then the same thing for door 2, but with just a different lookup string and a different variable. So door 2 unlocked instead of door 1 unlocked, and the string we're going to look up is door 2. Right. So that should save them both into the save data. So now let's test that out. It says, okay, something is messed up. What's going on here? Okay. Just gotta hook these up. Right, so let's unlock one door, save it, and see if it will load it correctly. Right. So one door has been unlocked. We just saved the game. So now when we load the game, if we put in the code for the first log, it hopefully won't open again. And it doesn't. It's perfect. But let's check that it's actually doing it right. So this is code 1. Okay, so let's load it again. And do 2 of them. And before we do the last one, let's add a breakpoint. And let's check this condition. So, yeah, so see, like, this has come from the save data, because we haven't been in here to change that yet. So this door 1 unlocked true has come from the save data. So that is saving and loading it correctly. And we can just check that one more time to be 100% sure by checking if we hit this. So on load, we hit this. Although it's saying false. Is it door 2? Oh, I know why that's saying false. Yeah. So door 1, you can see here, got set to true because that from the save data. So that's perfect. Don't have to worry about that. I guess I should also check the second door just to make sure that's working. So 1 2 1 2 1 2. Let's do the same thing. Let's save and load it again. So 1 2 1 2 1 2, and it doesn't open. That's perfect. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Okay, I messed up. Whatever's going on here. So currently we're on index 0,
2, 2. So the clubs needs to go 1. This one needs to go 3 and 3. Okay. So clubs 1. Let's turn this off. Then 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. I feel like something isn't working there. Anyway, I'll check that later. For now, this is working well enough that it's saving loading. I'll properly test it another time. But yeah, that puzzle I think is now completely done. Oh, what is next on the list? Guitar puzzle. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna finish. Oh, no, there's nothing else to do with this. I don't think I'm gonna finish this guitar puzzle, but I think I will do some of the guitar puzzle, and then I need to go get some food and have a break. Let's grab guitar puzzle. I don't actually see a guitar there, even though I've dragged it in. That's kind of odd. Oh, because I'm running. Okay. So, the idea behind the guitar puzzle is you have to click one of the 4 different strings to repeat a song that you hear. And this is where I was talking about like accessibility options, right? So obviously, if you're hard of hearing, you're not going to be able to solve this puzzle. Like, you're just not going to be able to solve it. So that's something I want to add, is like if you have the accessibility options turned on, then when you click each of these, instead of hearing a sound, it would show some text on screen maybe, and then you would follow the sequence by the text on screen rather than using the sound to get it right. But let's see how that goes. So first of all, definitely need to move the camera to a better position here. For one, it's the wrong way around completely. And 2, you're very far away from all the strings, so let's try something like that. Okay, that's also in a terrible spot, but not going to get this perfect right now. I just want to get the logic working. Okay, maybe that's good enough for now. Probably not. Actually, let's move it down a bit towards the bottom. Although I feel like you strum it up here, right? So I don't know. Let's do something like that. Alright, that's good enough, I think. So now I need to make these highlight, but because they're so small, I'm thinking about adding like a hitbox around them to make them a bit bigger, but let's just try it. Try it first and see if it feels weird. So let's turn, I got on auto custom render depth again, and then have a look at these. Are they already set to interactable? They're not set to interactable, so. Oh, if you can hear the, don't know if you can hear those sirens, but there is some protest going on today. I don't live in a terrible area. Okay, so custom, interactable. Add the interactable tag here. Now, in theory, this should just work, but I feel like they're going to be too small and it's going to be a pain to like hover them. Well, that's, yeah, that's. First of all, let's turn this off, right? So it's a bit easier to see what's going on. So on init, add a call to the parent function, and then we have this array again, primitives to line trace ignore, which is anything that's in this array won't automatically get the highlight around it, and we don't want to automatically have the highlight around the main bit of the guitar because that's not really part of the puzzle. So let's add that to this array. So now only the strings should highlight, I hope. Yeah, so here. How does that feel? Is it very easy to mess them up? Should I make them wider? I think it's kind of okay. I think I might just leave them how they are. I mean, if you go very quickly, you wouldn't really know that you can highlight them, but I'm sure people are going to be searching for stuff to click here. And I think I'll just zoom in on it a little bit more to make it a bit easier to see. So let's do that. Okay, let's have another look. Yeah, that feels a little bit better, but I think I can even zoom in a little more. Let's just do it like that. Yeah, I think that's okay. That's perfect. I'll leave it like that. So now when you click on each one, I want to play a sound. I'll sort out the accessibility part of it later. I don't feel like doing that right now. My brain is a bit fried. Okay, so string, are they in order? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, strings are in order, that's good. Just add a click event for all of them. 2, 3, and 4. And again, I have is player allowed to interact function, which checks is the puzzle activated, is the puzzle not busy, and can you start the puzzle? If all three of those are true, then we will allow the player to click on the string. So make a branch. I start with just one of them first and then copy it to the others. So if you click the string and you're not busy, we want to play a sound. I don't have guitar sounds right now, so I have to find those. But for now, we will play a sound that is hopefully not very loud. Maybe a click. Let's play a button click. And we need to store what button they click. So the whole point of the puzzle is they need to click it in a certain sequence. So we need to store the sequence somewhere as well. So let's make an array of, select sequence array, which is an array of integers. And in this case, when you click the string on the far left, we're going to add to the array that the first string has been strum, I think is the word. And then if they were to click on the second string, you would add a different number here. And because it's an array, you're adding a sequence of numbers. Now, I don't know how many different notes do we want to put in this sequence? I would say like something that's going to be, the player's going to be able to remember from hearing the song like once, so maybe like 5, I would say 5 different notes. Let's go with that. So like sequence number of notes in sequence, and let's set that to 5. So once we've added this to the array, we want to check that the array hasn't gone over 5. Do I want to do that here? First thing I'm going to do actually is check if the puzzle is solved.
So check if the sequences that have been put in are correct. So here, check for puzzle solves, call the parent function, then go through this. So like we have sequence array, and then we have another array. So actually we don't need number of nodes in sequence at all. We can have this solution array. And then, what have I killed here? Sequence array is, yeah, whatever. Okay, so solution array, I can put in, say, here 5. So like, well, let's do 4 for now, because there are 4 strings. So 1, 2, 3. So if we do all the strings from left to right, that's the correct solution currently. So when we go to check for puzzle solved, I can have a function which is going to be called check for correct sequence. This function doesn't take any inputs, but it does take an output, which is going to be result. If I can spell result properly. So it's going to return a result. So basically we're going to evaluate the sequence array against the solution array. So we're going to go through everything. Actually, we're going to go through... First we're going to check if the lengths are the same. Actually, I didn't know this exists. Oh, member-wise identical. Let's try it with this. I didn't know there wasn't even this identical function here. So we would just return that. I mean, I'll keep it in a function for now because we might need to change it, but... So if the solution array is equal to the sequence array, it should return true. Otherwise it should return false. So when we check for puzzle solved, say check for correct sequence, and let's make this a pure call. Right. So we check, and if it's true, right now we're just going to print on the screen that it's correct. And if it's not the correct sequence, we're going to print that it's incorrect. Alright, there we go. So when I click on the first string, now I should get a sound, and I should get it printed on the screen false, because it should not be the correct sequence. So incorrect. Okay, it is quite hard to click. So I do think I need to add a hitbox around it, which I'll do in a minute. Yeah, this is very hard to hit actually. Right. So now if I add, okay, let's add the hitbox now because I'm going to get rid of that, right? So let's add a box collision. Add component box collision. So the box collision will just be for clicking. No, actually it also needs to be for highlighting. So I'm going to have to change this whole thing a little bit, not massively. So let's get this like 1 and... Okay, let's just get this in the right place first. Oh, I'm not snapping them anymore. That's a problem. Right, so right now that covers a bit too much of the wire, right? Let's just do like minus 7.5, something like that. So you can see this box is a bit thicker, so you have more area to select things with. Once I do one of these boxes, I can copy and paste them, but cover the whole wire. Oh, hi Agata. Hope you're enjoying hope you're enjoying the stream. Okay, so that's also too wide, right? It's gonna overlap this one a bit. Although I don't know if that's gonna matter. Let's just try 45. Wait, that's the wrong one. It's Y I need to change. Let's try 0.9. Okay, for now I'll just get one box working. So the other thing we need to change is we can't use this auto custom render depth anymore. At least not for highlighting these. Because we're no longer going to be mousing over the actual part of the model. We're going to be mousing over this box. So what we need to start with is on begin cursor over and also on end cursor over. So what that means is when the mouse goes over this box and we're in a state where we're allowed to interact with stuff, then we'll turn on the highlight. And when we exit, when the cursor moves away from that box, outside of it, we can turn it off, and we don't need to do any check because we can always turn it off no matter what's going on. So let's just turn off auto custom render depth. This also means that this is gonna, the main part of the guitar is gonna be highlightable again. So on start puzzle complete, on start puzzle complete, I want to turn off the component tags of this, which will hopefully be enough. And then when the puzzle ends, so on end puzzle complete, I may want to turn that back on, but only if the puzzle is not solved, right? So get solved. If the puzzle's not solved, when you exit it, then turn the component tag back on. Is this just removing that? Yeah, this is just removing that. So get component tags. Component tags, and add interactable back to it. Let's just add unique because we don't want to have more than one. So add interactable back to it. Interactable. And hopefully that will mean that the main body of the guitar won't be highlightable when I click it now. But the string hopefully will be. Okay, so that's... well, that's not quite working, but... okay, and also this box needs to be set to a different collision type. So right now it's overlap all dynamic, but we want to have it block all. Otherwise it won't be picked up by the cursor when it's picking. Right, see here, now it's... this box is working. Might need to edit the box a bit to make it a little bigger. It's a bit too much over that side, but it's a bit of an improvement, right? Like we can highlight it easier now. Yeah, I think that's okay. Let's also find out why this is not working. So, oh, if it's solved, add it again. We don't want to add it if it's solved, we want to add it if it's not solved. So that's the problem with that probably. Right, so yeah, now it's back. So interactable when you're exploring. When you're not exploring, you can't interact with it, so that's fixed. So now I just need to add the boxes for the other strings. So let's copy and paste a box. And actually the values for the box should be the same because they're children of the string, right? So they should, first let's make 4 of them. It'll be a bit easier. It's box 2, box 3, let's do them in order. So we want to have -26, -7.5 and 8 for all of them. Wait, what was the second one? -7.5. So 1, 2, 3, 7.5, -8. Okay. So they should all be in the right place. Are they all in the right place? Ah, okay. These are all set to 0, 0. So this is a problem, right? So that all the strings are set to 0, 0 and have some offset from when they were exported from Maya or something like that. So I'm going to have to manually place them out. Cool, mate. Thanks very much. Thanks for being here. Speak to you later. Enjoy your evening. Yep, so I'm gonna have to just manually move these over. I think there's probably some sweet spot I can fit, so like that looks okay. I don't think this is gonna work properly, but let's just try it. They might not work too well. Okay, so this one's still fine, so let's add the begin cursor over and end cursor over for these other boxes now. Do the same thing with highlighting their string when the cursor goes over. So begin cursor over, end cursor over. And the same for this one. Begin cursor over, end cursor over. So I want to do exactly the same thing for all of them and just change out which static mesh it's going to put that highlight on. So box 3 is going to change this one. Box 2 is going to change this one. And box 3 is going to change this one. And now let's give that a test. Alright, actually that feels much better. Like now I can highlight all of them quite easily. Before, when I was just aiming for the one string, it was actually quite hard. Right, so now also need to do to move the click from off of. So instead of being on the static mesh, it's going to be a click from the box. So the logic will be the same, but it will just trigger from the box instead. So let's move that down here, out of the way. So box 1 on clicked, and the same for the rest of them. Well, they're not going to be exactly the same actually, because the sequence number will change, but I'll explain that in just a moment. So when we click the first string, we're going to put 0 into the sequence array, and then when we click the second string, we're going to put 1 into the sequence array, and for the third one we're going to put 2, and for the last one we're going to put 3. And these are what we're going to test when we check to see if the player has solved it correctly. So first of all I need to add these. So now I think this should work. So let's just try it out. So yeah, and it even comes up correct. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, the correct sequence, and it worked. So the logic is working there. The only thing is, it needs to reset the sequence if you put an incorrect. So every time I get it incorrect, I need to restart. I need to reset the sequence array. So when I check for puzzles, okay, so when I check for puzzle solved over here, if it's so actually I need like a current sequence index, because you might have put in like the first two numbers correctly, then you put the third number incorrectly, so you want to start again, because no matter what you put in after that, you're not going to get the right outcome and it's not going to solve the puzzle, right? So this sequence would start at 0, and every time that you click on one of the strings, it's going to increase this. And then we also need to check the length of the solution array, -1. And we need to say if this number is less than the number of notes in the sequence, then it's okay. But if it's gone over the number of notes in the sequence, we need to reset it as well, right? So if it's greater than the solution index, we need to set it back to 0. Otherwise, we can go and check for whether it's been solved properly. Okay, so the other thing we need to check. We need to take whatever index we're on, get the sequence array and the solution array, and we need to say what was that? It was identical, that is what it was called. We need to check if they're identical. Because at this point we've just added a new number to the sequence. If they're not identical, no, that isn't going to work like that. Ignore me. I'm talking out loud trying to work this out, but now I have it. I need to get the two numbers of the same index. So basically, if we've just put the first... Actually, we need to do this before this. Anyway, we've just put the first number into the sequence, so we need to check, was that correct? So is the first number in the solution array identical to the first number in the sequence array? And if they are, then we're on the path to getting the correct correct combination of notes and solving the puzzle. And if we mess this up and they're not equal, then we want to reset it all from the beginning, right? Oh, actually, I think I'm way too tired to finish this right now. I think I'm going to take a break and probably finish this off stream sometime later. So yeah, I really appreciate anyone who stuck around to watch. That was very nice of you to be here, and yeah, I'll probably stream again sometime either later this week or next week, but I still have a lot more to do, so yeah, I'll definitely do more streams in the future. So yeah, thanks a lot. Alright, see you.